Hello, fellow Toastmasters and guests. A very good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to 584th meeting of the Medley Toastmasters Club. I am Abhimanyu. I am Sergeant at Arms for Medley Toastmasters Club. The mission of Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member gets an opportunity to improve communication and leadership skills, which in turn boosts self-confidence and personal growth. In every Toastmasters meeting, we follow 3 ground rules. Rule number 1, please maintain silence throughout the meeting. And if you are not talking, put yourself on mute. Also, turn off the video when moving. Rule number 2, please avoid taboo topics such as sex, religion, and politics. Rule number 3, please try to join the meeting in formal attire. And with this, over to the presiding officer, DTM Thomas Abraham, who is a former vice president, corporate communication with the Hinduja Group. Thomas combined words, photography, and design. A proud Medlian since January 2015, he is a past manager of District 82. Over to you, DTM Thomas Abraham.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Thank you very much, Sergeant at Arms Abhimanyu Gupta. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy to be with you all once again, second time in the last 24 hours. It's very, very nice to see such energy, allowing us to sustain such levels of activity. We enjoy this in the same way we do. The other day, and I'm saying this to you, the context will be clear. I was reading Robin Sharma's popular book called Who Will Cry When You Die. That's not a very appealing way of putting it, but what he gives inside are very interesting things. One of the things in a quick sense was he talks about an old story from India's Puranas, where there was a time, I believe, everybody on earth, walking on the earth, was a god with all godly powers. And soon when you have power, what happens? People started misusing it. So the big god, the chief god, said, this can't go on. So he took away those powers, the perseverance, the perspective, everything that was good about, that was almost divine. And he said, where do I hide it? So his sidekick said, hide it in the ocean. He said, no, they will dive and find it. Hide it under the earth. No, they will find it. Finally, the big God decided that he will hide all these good things which make people divine in their own hearts. And they started looking for divinity all over, but never inside themselves. They looked at other people's strengths and they felt very jealous. They looked at their own weakness and said, how do I get over this? No, I wouldn't delve much more into it, but all I wanted to say, the relevance is, see, we are a group of people who want self-development. We want to improve. That's why we are here. So in that process, yesterday I talked about one danger. Today I'm talking about the danger of us falling prey to getting caught up in our weaknesses. Kindly remember one thing, and I think that tells it all. Gandhiji, look at Gandhiji. Yesterday I wanted to refer to Gandhiji. He was not a he-man. Very little muscles. He was not macho. And his voice, he was not a Toastmaster. His voice, sound box was pretty sad. And yet, see what he achieved. So it's not, my body language may not be the best. That doesn't stop me from being what I am and becoming what I can be. I think I will leave it at that. Meanwhile, it's an opportunity for me to say hello to Saravana Balaraj. Hello. Guest Saravana Bhavaraj, are you in? Hello. Till you find your voice, maybe say hello to Anup Francis. Hello, Anup.
Hello, DTM Thomas. Good afternoon.
Good to see you. Good to see you. So,
by the way, I'm Arup, not Anup. One letter difference.
Sorry. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, I will note it. I will not make the same mistake again.
No worries.
Yes, Anup, tell us what do you do and what brings you here? How did you hear about us?
I just heard about this meeting 15 minutes back from DTM Thomas, from you. And I was amazed.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah, I was amazed to hear that you have 7 speakers lined up today. I am part of Hillview Toastmasters Club. We are based out of Perumbakam, Sholingnur area. And the maximum I've seen is 4 speakers in our meetings. So I don't know how you guys are getting 7 speakers, but that seemed like a meeting that I should probably attend to learn. I'm also the VP of my club, so definitely maybe I can pull in some tricks and tips from this meeting.
most welcome. Most welcome. You can see the miracle in front of your eyes. 7 speakers, hopefully.
Right.
Time
Thank
for
you.
me to thank you very much. Enjoy the day. May I also call on stage guest Julie. Guest Julie, are you there? Maybe we'll catch up with her at the end of the day. Since we have a interesting though long day, let us take things forward. And to take things forward, we have one of the most popular and affable Medlians out of the 54 of us. It's none other than our ever smiling, ever ready to take on anything, Secretary Toastmaster Renga. Very broadly, very briefly, Renga spent more than his active life abroad in the Gulf and in the US. The rest of it, India benefited. Currently, he is very much interested in reading, music, cricket, see all the good things in life. Also, podcasts, especially news. But he's slightly feeling blue today because the head of blues, Mahi, has called off, is retiring today. I'm sure Renga will get over that. Over to you, Renga, to tell us more about all about friendship. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Visavi and Thomas Abraham, for your introduction. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, it is my privilege and pleasure to welcome you all to Medley Toastmasters Club. The theme of the day is what makes a friend a friend. Among the thousands of people we meet, some are acquaintances, some are a bit more, but some find a special place in your heart. Anand and I are 2 peas of the same pod. We were both 22 years old when we joined the band. The day I met him first, he had a full head helmet tucked under his arm. And I asked him, why are you carrying your head under your arms? To which he gave a throaty laugh. And at that moment, we became good friends. We found out later that we have common interest in books, comics, movies, songs. Although we grew up 550 kilometers apart, there were striking similarities in the way we grew up. We both had photographs taken when we were around 10 years old, wearing the same tie. Could you believe that? When we were still in our 20s, we had a bet for a paltry sum of ₹100 as to who would get married first. As of today, both of us are still single. What makes him such a good friend? We both operate on the same wavelength, be it compassion, philanthropy, work ethic, and laughing off most of our difficult moments with collective optimism. Sometimes we won't even speak for weeks, and when suddenly one of us calls the other, the uncanny reply would be, hey, I was just about to call you. Moving over to the role of today, for the benefit of guests, I would like to explain the structure of the meeting. The meeting is divided into 2 parts, two sections. The first is the prepared speech, where members will be delivering speeches based on their project pathways chosen. The second part is the evaluation round, in which all the prepared speeches, as well as other aspects of the session, will be evaluated by the general evaluator team. Today, T.N. Raghunath Nair dons the mantle of general evaluator. He is a warm and genial person, always motivating people and giving them confidence. He has been a Toastmaster for a couple of decades, for over 2 decades. And Medley is his new home. On friendship, he says he remembers an incident where he told his friend he will be home at 11 o'clock in the night. After various appointments, he reached home at 1 a.m. But still, he was warmly welcomed with a smile. They are the people who accept you for who you are, and vice versa. Over to the general evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Renga. So, So being a general evaluator, I have the privilege to listen to almost like 7 prepared speeches today, which will be evaluated by 7 efficient Toastmasters thoroughly. And so in general evaluators, we have, to help me, there are 2 teams. One is the speech evaluators, and then there is a tag team, which represents the timer, accounter, and grammarian. And for this tag team, I have very young, not by age, but young Toastmasters of Medley, handling this timer, accounter, and grammarian role. So let me introduce and ask the tag player to read out their objectives. So the timer, the young and energetic Amita, you don't need to blush. Let's have the understanding of what the timer is going to be for today.
Thank you, Jimmy. I was not blushing. I was just very happy when you said stuff like that.
I was just pulling it.
Yeah. As a timer, my role is to remind, record, and report the time used by each speaker when they are delivering speeches. Each speaker has limited time to give their speech, either according to their project requirements or by the meeting agenda. I have 3 background colors, green, yellow, and red. Along with them, I have buzzers which will give you the sound. The prepared speech session is for 5 to 7 minutes. A speaker who speaks 30 seconds less or more than the qualified time will not be eligible for awards. The time given to the evaluators is 2 to 3 minutes. An evaluator who speaks 30 seconds less or more than the qualified time will not be eligible for awards. And if I'm not wrong, speaker number 7, Toastmaster Shankar, the time given to him for the project is 2 to 3 minutes. And if he speaks less or more than 30 seconds, he will not be eligible for awards. I request all speakers to pin my video while they are speaking. I will hand over the complete timer report when called upon by the general evaluator at the end of the meeting.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Amita. I've mistaken the ever-smiling face of yours as blushing. So my apologies for that. And so we have another interesting and like a new Toastmaster Sampath, who is joining from Singapore, thanks to the technology, and he will be our counter today. So Toastmaster Sampath, can you please explain the objectives of the counter and what you will be observing?
Hi everyone, good afternoon everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm new to this Medley Toastmasters Club. And again, thank you for the opportunity to play a counter role for this today's session. In this role, I'm getting a chance to listen all the speakers' speeches meticulously, and I'll make a note of all the filler words such as and etc. And of course, I'll make a note of pauses and repeat words as well. Later, I will share the report when TMOD General Evaluator asks for it. Thank you so much. Over to you, GE.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sampath. Now, another very important role, like the timer and the counter, to make these meetings more relevant, and like you learn a lot being these role players and how the Toastmaster meeting goes in. And for that, to understand and check on how we pronounce and or how our usages are, we have our grammarian, Toastmaster Lavanya. Toastmaster Lavanya, can you please explain your role as a grammarian?
Thank you so much. Dear fellow Toastmasters and guests, as a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I will note of any improper language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also to introduce the word of the day. I have chosen this word to be in consonance with the theme for the day, which is what makes a friend a friend. So for today's meeting, the word is compatible, which means it's as an adjective. It is able to exist or occur together without problem or conflict. Basically, being in a compatible relationship means that you work well together, enjoy each other's company, and have a good time. Example in a sentence is joining a group is about finding a group of people with whom we feel compatible. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. I will give the grammarian's report when called upon during the meeting and also report on the usage of word of the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lavanya. That was very clear and crisp. So as a member and participants, the role players of timer, accounter, and grammarians, as I believe, is clear. It's a privilege for Toastmaster meeting being a general evaluator that you are able to enhance your listening skills, and that's what we get to learn on one of the key traits that we take out from the Toastmasters. And now, after the whole prepared speeches of wonderful 7 speakers, I will come back as an evaluator, which my team of able 7 evaluators will be evaluating. And as a GE, I'll be monitoring the whole session and see where we can improve as a club and each of our role plays in the coming days. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Ranga, to take us further for the meeting.
Thank you so much, TM Logu. Our first speaker of the day is TM Chakalingam. For the benefit of newcomers, he is a stand-up comedian. He can both roast as well as raise the toast for anybody. He is also a software professional and returning to Medley after a short gap. When asked about the theme, he was very succinct. Unlike most of the comedians, he just spoke one word, and the word was trust. I call upon the evaluator, T.M. Dinesh, to give the project details of the project.
T.M. Dinesh.
T.M. Dinesh, could you give the evaluation for Toastmasters?
Dinesh is on mute, I believe.
Yeah. I'm back. Thank you, G. Just a moment. Toastmaster Chokalingam is giving his evaluation and feedback second speech. The purpose of his speech is to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to the second speech. He has to demonstrate the feedback he has applied in his first speech. Timer, please note the time is 5 to 7 minutes. Thank you, and over to you, TM Modi.
Thank you, T.M. Dinesh. T.M. Chokalingam will give a project titled Find Your House. Find Your House, T.M. Chokalingam.
Have you ever wondered why kids are so happy? Because kids can make friends so easily. Just imagine 2 kids in a train compartment. Within minutes, they can become friends. Imagine the same train compartment with adults. The only conversation is, Thambi, I have arthritis, can you please take the upper berth? Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. When I was studying 6th standard, I went to this movie, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I went alone and I came out with 4 friends. I met them there at the theater. So we became friends so naturally. We were discussing how to join the magic school Hogwarts for the 6th standard. It happened so naturally because when you are a kid, you don't expect much from others. You don't judge them. And most importantly, when you are a kid, you have a lot of opportunities to meet new people. In the classroom, you have to spend 8 hours in class with 40 or 50 students. Definitely you will get a friend. In the playground, most of the bonding happens in the playground. Lunch rooms, you share food, sharing is caring. And in cultural activities, project presentations, whatnot. But when you slowly start your career, you start working for someone, all these things vanishes. Poof, poof, everything. You start judging people the moment you see them. You expect a lot from them. And most basically, the opportunities that you have previously slowly shrinks. It was 2015 and I was 25 at that point of time. I was in deep love with my laptop. I hate all the human beings, and I almost made my mind that I cannot make any more friends. But at that point of time, I met my old friend and he introduced me to this wonderful group called Toastmasters Club. To be frank, before the meeting began, I was in my mind like, okay, this guy trapped me into a MLM thing. They are going to get some money from me after the meeting. But once the meeting ends, my opinions changed. So I started liking this place, this Toastmasters Club. But still, I was hesitant to join them. I was in one of the corner looking at all those people with smile in their face, lot of good vibes for me. I'm not ready for that. I was thinking about this, and at that point of time, I met the VPM, Sunil Jose. So he came with a smiling face, shining head. So he suddenly offered me vada. Delicious vada, man. Food, sharing is caring. I started loving Toastmasters again. I joined Toastmasters. Yeah, I don't have to say, those two vadas played an important role in that. And you won't believe, I learned a lot after joining this club. I met a lot of like-minded people with whom I can be comfortable and compatible. And I started making all the decisions based on what I see in Toastmasters. I have a lot of good friends, irrespective of the ages. I have DTM Thomas as my friend. I have Kalyan as my friend. On the other hand, I have Shamla who just completed her studies. So I have friends from both extremes. I learned one thing. People are not actually unfriendly and all. People are actually friendly. They are yet to meet their right friends. So for me, it happened accidentally. I met my school, the magic school, the Hogwarts, Toastmasters. And I got a lot of things from this Toastmasters club. And I found my house, Hogwarts, Gryffindor. For the Harry Potter fans, you will easily able to get it. It is up to you to find your school, your gang. It can be anything. It can be cycling, it can be swimming, it can be coding, it can be cooking. I would like to say to you all guys, find your house, find your school, your friends are waiting there for you. Over to my friend, Toastmaster Ranga.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chokalingam. We found out your compatibility with your laptop as well as human friends. That was wonderful. Our next speaker, our second speaker is Toastmaster Saravanan. He always speaks gently. He carries himself with poise and assurance. A native of Coimbatore, living in Aria for a decade and a half, he is an IT professional working in a leading automobile company. About the theme, he says a friend is someone who accepts you for who you are. It's difficult to find someone who is a true friend, but if you do, please cherish and hold him tight. I call upon his evaluator, TM Priyadarshini, to give the details of TM Saravaman's project. Over to you, TM Priya.
Good afternoon to all my dear Toastmasters friends. Saravanan is giving his speech under level 4. It's his first project, speech 2. Project name is Manage Projects Successfully. The purpose is to practice developing a plan, building a team, and fulfilling the plan with the help of your team. And the time allotted is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best to Saravanan.
TM Saravanan will talk about TM Saravanan's project is titled You Only Live Once. You Only Live Once, TM Saravanan.
Thank you, Toastmasters today. I'm sharing my screen. Please let me know whether you are able to see.
Yes, we can see.
Yes, we can.
Mary Curie once mentioned, there is nothing in life to be feared. It needs to be understood. Now, in this time, we need to understand. During this COVID time, we have to understand more so that we may fear less. This is very much important during this period of time, during this pandemic. I live in Adayar, as T. Modi mentioned, for the past 15 years, and I live in the first main road of Gandhinagar. It's called as Mahalakshmi Apartments. It's nearby the commercial establishments, and because of that, there are lot of visitors who come and visit my society. So the association decided that we have to come up with a project, and that project is, as you can see here, the project goal is to come up with a guideline on cleaning or decontamination of common areas like entrance, terrace, elevator, staircase, etc. in my apartment in Adayar. During my first speech, I gave a plan on how this will work. So I took you through who are the stakeholders who are involved, what are the resources that are involved, and what is the budget all about, what are the deliverables we are talking about. So in the last speech, 2 to 3 minutes, I took all these areas. In the current speech, what I'm going to do here is, I will take you with my experience of accomplishing this. The deliverables that are accomplished are already completed as of July 30th. We completed entire all the 5 deliverables. And the learnings I have are three main learnings. The first one is selecting the right team. As you can see here, there are various teams that are involved. The selecting the right team is most important because, as you know, in project management, what is more important is if you select the right team, that means 50% of our project will be successful. There are 3 main areas you have to consider while selecting the right team. The first one is finding the best fit for the role. Who is somebody who is best fitted for that role? Second one is the person should be very proactive. The third thing is the person should be very influential and compatible with the rest of the residents so that the project will be successful. These are the 3 main criteria I took when I wanted to execute this project. The name of the persons who are part of this project are mentioned over here. Mr. Ramamurthy, Mr. Dr. Mathur, Regga Krishnan, Kamala, and Hari Krishnan. So if you see Mr. Ramamurthy, he was a retired DGM in BHEL. So I took him because he has got the experience of enhancing the competencies of a big team. So I took him for that particular deliverable. Dr. Mathur is a practicing doctor in the current medical hospital now. So he is the one who is aware of all the standard operating procedure for this COVID-19. So I took him also in my team. Mr. Venkata Krishnan, who is part of my apartment complex, he is a retired chemist. So I took him for these areas of preparation of 1% sodium hydrochloride solution and 70% alcohol solution. These are nothing but sodium chloride, hypochlorite means it's a solution which is useful for preparing the bleach. And 70% alcohol solution is something that is useful for the sanitation. So all these things can be done through Mr. Venkatakrishnan, and he gave very good support for the entire teams. And Mrs. Kamala, she is a housewife, but she's a very good social activist also. So I took her for the waste management process. And Mr. Hari Krishnan was a PhD holder in some of the literature related activities. So I took him for sharing of knowledge and everything. So these are the ways I took the team so that they are compatible with the rest of the resources as well as with the rest of the stakeholders. The second important thing I understood from this entire project is standard operating procedure. You know, standard operating procedure means there are various aspects involved in that. So for example, first one is communication, which is very important. Second is documentation, that is also important. Third one is adherence to the documentation. So these are the 3 main areas that are needed from a standard operating procedure perspective. So from a communication perspective, so you can see here, there are various stakeholders. One is the labor, the watchmen, sweepers, iron person, drivers who are involved. So they are all of a different gentry. And then the apartment residents who are staying in the apartment, there are 24 apartment residents. They are of different gentry. So we have to communicate in such a way that they are understandable to those strata of people. So for that apartment residents, I used Zoom communication, and then we used various methods to communicate the entire project process to them. And then for the watchman, sweepers, and rest of the labor, we used a different sort of communication, that is physical distancing, but at the same time, we ensured that the standard operating procedure is more of a documentation, which I showed over here. Are you able to see this? This is the documentation which we have showed to them. And then this is the standard operating procedure which we have come up with. So there are pictorial representations of how we have to clean ourselves, clean our hands and everything, and how to sanitize that. And then the next one is how to clean the entire areas. See, for example, we have to start cleaning from cleaner areas to the dirtier areas. So that is one thing we have to educate them. Because if they start from the other way around, then everything will become dirty. So this is something like we have come with the standard operating procedure. And then for each and every area, like for indoor areas, what is the methodology that needs to be used for disinfecting? See, for example, 1% sodium hydrochloride or phenolic disinfectants have to be used for indoor areas, such as lobbies, corridors, etc. And for metallic surfaces, if you see the door handles, security locks, etc., we have to use 70% alcohol. There we cannot use the bleach. So we have to put that into perspective and how to educate them. The next one is the toilet pots or commodes. It has to be cleaned with detergent as well as 1% sodium chloride. And then the lid for that, it has to be cleaned with nylon scrubber. And the taps and fittings have to be cleaned using 70% alcohol. We have to carefully clean the equipment used in the cleaning process as well at the end of the entire overall process. And then what we have to do also more important is all the discarding of the PPE equipment which you have used. See, for example, you have hand gloves, you have mask, face mask, all those things have to be disposed properly in a disposable bag, and then wash hands with soap and water afterwards and dispose it properly through the waste management process which we have come up with. So you can see a methodological as well as the cleaner process have been followed for the standard operating procedure. Then you can see here, this is the 1% sodium hydrochloride solution, which we have prepared ourselves for the entire bleaching activities. So this is a chlorine solution which is being used for that purpose. The next one is the shield protection. So we have bought several shield protection for the workers who are working in the garden areas, indoor areas, cleaning as such. And then you can see the locks and all. So how we have to clean? We have to use our cleaning solutions to clean those areas. And then the staircases. And then we have bought these areas, these things also, protective reusable mask, so that the workers can do their work properly as such. And elevators buttons have to be cleaned properly so that in case if we touch, we will not be infected because of the coronavirus as such. So a clinical and as well as methodological purpose was designed for the entire framework. And then the third big learning I have come up with is responding to change. Responding to change is a very important process, because what is more important is when we are speaking with people of various strata in the societies, we have to be very cognizant of what is that they are looking for, what is that they can adapt to. So the responding of change, there are various things that are needed. There are 5 P's that are important. One is the patience, because we have to be very patient when we have to be involved in those labor or like apartment residents as such, because sometimes they take things for granted and then they won't go ahead with their own problems and solutions and everything, but that will not work out. So we have to be very patient about them. And the second important thing is persistence. We have to be persistent on what we are talking about. The third important thing is purpose. So we have a project board. We have to ensure that all the guidelines for the cleaning as well as decontamination are followed for all the areas in the apartment complex. So the purpose also to be very clear and has to be communicated very clearly also. Then the fourth P is practical. Be practical about that, because things will not change very immediately. We have to take some time, but at the same time, we have to enhance our capabilities. At the same time, we have to communicate properly to them so that this will be a practical solution as such and a sustainable solution also. Then last important P is positive, because being positive is what is more important, because this is a time where people get depressed, where people get annoyed, but we have to take it to our stride, communicate properly and ensure that this is coming to their minds, because this is what is going to help them. So that positivity is what we have to cascade from ourselves to the residents as well as the labor who are involved in this. So these are the 5 P's that I learned. So when doing a project in my office, that is totally different ballgame. I have a team of resources, I have history feedback, peer feedback, I have appraisals and everything. But here it is totally different, because I'm totally dealing with a different sort of people. But this Learning is totally very important because I have done myself very good in that, and because you live only once. So you have to ensure that you have to be successful. At the same time, you have to be useful to others as well. Over to the team.
Excellent speech, P.M. Sullivan. You have not only ensured the compatibility between your residents, but also between men and material. Thank you so much for your speech. Our third speaker for the day is Toastmaster Mohan Sundaram. And it's a hat-trick. P.M. Mohan Sundaram is also from the IT profession. He's also an IT professional working at Creatrix campus. He is always finding the best version of himself whenever he gets an opportunity to speak in front of people. About the theme of the day, he finds great pleasure in organizing trips just to be with his friends. I request his evaluator, P.M. Ramesh Murugan, to read out the details of P.M. Mohan Sundaram's talk.
Thank you, Toastmasters of the day. Mohan Sundaram is going to give a speech. The purpose of this project is to practice the skills needed to present yourself well in an interview. All the best, Mohan Sundaram.
A little bit of information about this speech. P.M. Mohan Sundaram is preparing to attend an interview. And to make it live, we have Toastmaster Sundaresan, who will be conducting the interview online. Over to Toastmaster Mohan Sundaram and Toastmaster Sundaresan.
Toastmaster Mohan Sundaram, welcome to our company Anubhavam Technology Private Limited, and the position you have applied for is digital marketing. Thanks for coming on time so that there are more candidates today we can cover. Are you comfortable today, Mr.
Yes,
Mohan Sundaram?
Yes.
That's great. Let's start the interview. Tell us about yourself.
Myself is Mohan Sundaram. I'm coming from Guindy. I'm graduated with the computer science engineering in 2012. I was offered to work in a process executive in a non-IT sector. As the world is growing faster, I want to move on the IT sectors. In 2015, I joined Chemitech Software Private Limited. I stayed there 5 years, and I learned tons of information about the testing, how they develop the web applications as well as mobile applications. As I said before, I want to accomplish the world. So I feel I'm ready to take on my career to next level. So that's why I'm staying here to looking for opportunities here.
That's good. It's interesting. What are your strengths, Mr. Mohan Sundaram?
As I've been working in the software industries for more than 5 years, I could say that I'm good at finding a root cause of the software bugs. When I'm working with the developers, I could say that I'm good at improvising implementations and quick learnings. I never get, I'm good at this area until I get the appreciation from the others.
Well, what are your weaknesses also?
Well, weakness, everyone has a weakness while working with the employees. I could say that constant remembering. One should be careful of remembering what they are doing in a day. When performing the multitasking, I lack the details what I have done in a day. If you ask me, for a better understanding, I take a notes of what they are doing in a day.
Okay. What do you know about our company Anubhavam Technology?
I've been looking for Anubhavam Technology for past 6 months. The name is Anubhavam Technologies. To my knowledge, Anubhavam Technology was founded by Mr. Shivkumar Virappan in 2006. I haven't heard any company name in the Tamil. This shows us how we respect the mother tongue and passionate about the languages. Creatrix Campus is one of the core flagship of the Anubhavam Technologies, which provide the support to higher education institutions. Our clients are from Middle East and Asian countries, and a few from few from Western countries.
That's great. And from management perspective, I like to ask you this: why should we hire you?
I'm not looking for all the job opportunities. I trained and I have a desire to have desired on the digital marketing field. Digital marketing fields, even though I'm graduate in the computer science engineering and I have tons of information about the testing field. I always focus on the growth. So that's why I'm here to apply for this job.
Yeah, interesting. Why do you want to work with this company?
There are a few scenarios I would like to say here, and number one is a domain perspective. Education industries are growing faster, and there is a higher level scope in that. And number two is employee attrition rate. When I search in the Google and I found it that attrition rate is very low in these companies. And number third is terminologies like a program, course, semesters, exam, how they conduct the examinations. I could say that areas and degrees. So these are terminologies are very good, and if there any issues occur, and it will be very easy for me to find the root causes and get the solution for that.
Yeah, that's great. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I could say that, and I will be a senior digital marketing manager in the same company after 5 years.
Okay. What are your salary expectations, Mr. Mohanasundram?
As per the industry standard, with my experience.
Oh, that's good. And how do you like to handle the stress and pressure?
Stress comes through the uncertainty, that is from not expecting the result or responsibility from this. I would focus on the practice skills rather than worst case scenarios.
Are you willing to relocate or travel for work?
Yeah, definitely. And I want to focus and shifting on my focus on this job. And if the job requires me to travel anywhere around the world, and I'm good at traveling.
That's good. It's interesting. What do you have learned new from your current job?
I learned about that how they're developing the web applications as well as mobile applications, implementation with respect to the client as well as the market. And yes, that's it.
Good, you're a learner. Is there a principle you will not sacrifice for any gain?
Business is all about the professionalism and ethics. So my action would compromise this.
That's good. Do you have a role model in your life or at work?
Role model. Everyone have a role models, and so the role model which trigger you to do the better performance every day. I could say that Hawk Mandinos, the proprietor of the book and the greatest salesman in the world, and which contains a lot of positive informations. And George, and number two is George Soros, the man who broke the Bank of England, and he is a father of the macroeconomics. Both person came from zero to millions, and no other person in the world faced as much hardship as the above mentioned figures.
That's good. Cheerfully you answered these things. One last question. What makes you happy?
The answer would be crazy, and I'm a big foodie. And actually,
okay.
I love food.
Yeah, okay. Let's wind up this interview, and we'll let you know after assessing all the candidates. And good wishes to you, Mr. Mohanasundram, or Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you.
Thank you, T.M. Sivaresan and T.M. Mohanasundram. After the drilling session, I do hope T.M. Mohanasundram lands the job. Our fourth speaker is T.M. Ram Prasad. Can you guess which industry he's from? You're right. It's 4 out of 4. He is an IT professional too for over a decade and a Toastmaster for the past 3. He is currently serving as the area director for C3, which includes Medley. Ramprasad fondly remembers his friend who gave him complete freedom to use the latest desktop, as well as install any software needed to enhance his skills in search of a job. It helped him immensely as he secured the job. I call upon his evaluator, E.M. Sundaresan, to give the details of his project.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Toastmaster Ram Prasad has planned to give his speech, Innovative Planning, Level 2, Project 2, Connect with your audience. The objective goes with, the purpose of this project is for the member to practice the skills needed to connect with an unfamiliar audience. My good wishes to Toastmaster Ram Prasad. Over to Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, T.M. Sundaresan. T.M. Ramprasad's project is titled Visualize Your Cards. Visualize your cards, T.M. Ramprasad.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. I hope I am audible. Thank you. How many of you plan your everyday task? Can you please raise your hand? Can someone unmute and tell me, how do you plan your task? Do you write the task and how do you plan your task? Can you someone unmute or just type in the chat? Somebody, sir.
I'm sorry, please go ahead.
I'll plan my to-do list and plan my work accordingly.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir. Sambat, sir.
Hi, good afternoon. Same like I normally note down in Notepad or in the note sticky note, so in the laptop itself. So basically, prioritize the task.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. I used to follow the same thing. I used to create the to-do list. Few weeks back on a Saturday morning, I created the checklist for the complete day. I thought of completing some official work and as well as thought of learning something from the LinkedIn, and I had some other priority task in it. I prepared for the whole day. After few hours, my wife came to me and said, tomorrow is Sunday. It is a full lockdown day. We should go for a shopping. Otherwise, you will starve tomorrow. I don't have any other choice. I went to shopping and it took more than 2 hours for us to come back after our shopping. After our lunch, I started focusing on my task. Around 2:50 p.m., I got a message from our VP, Raghunath Nair. Ram, are you joining the call? You are the grammarian for the day. I was completely forgot. I signed up for the grammarian role. It is hard to find the grammarian at the last minute, as I have already played the role of VPE earlier. I empathized with the VPE and I said, okay, I will join and manage to do the role within a short span of time. I prepared for the word of the day and done the role. End of the day, when I reviewed my checklist, I have completed only 50% of the work. I had to postpone a lot of things to the next day. Does that mean the plan doesn't work? So do we have to plan? So others who hasn't raised their hands at the start may think we don't have to have a plan. We just go on the flow. Is that right? How many of you don't plan and take it on the go? Can you please raise your hand or type in the chat? Yes, Rangara sir is one of them. When we don't have the plan, so we are going in this without any direction. We have the goal. When we have the checklist and the planned action for it, so we are going in the right direction. But as the former US president, Mr. Eisenhower said, plan is nothing. Planning is everything. You need to do the continuous planning as and when the new changes comes in and another task comes in. It is for everyone. How do we do that? I found a tool which has been widely used in IT industry as well as it has originated from the Toyota production system. That is called, give me a second, Kanban. As you can see in my board, let me go through how we can use this tool as my speech itself. You have to prepare a visual board like this. It has 3 columns: to do, in progress, and done. And whenever you get a task, what are the things you have to do? Just write it in the to do column. For me, for this speech, I thought of explaining some background. I have the sticky notes, a small sticky paper, post it with me, and I have done explaining the background, why I have chosen this tool. I have directly moved this to done. Now, I am planning to explain 3 things. What is Kanban? That is one note which I have. I am placing it in to do. And the next card which I have is how this can be used. That is my second plan. And third is the advantage of Kanban. So let me talk about what is Kanban. I'm moving this to in progress now. The Kanban is used in Toyota producting system, and also it is widely used in IT industry as well. It is simple. You can have to do, in progress, and done columns. Whenever you are focusing on a particular task, you are working on particular thing, you can move this to in progress. And whenever it is done, you can move this to done. And how this can be used? It is simple. It is moving the cards. You can prioritize it based on the new ADA task comes in. If there is any new task comes in, you can also have that as a new sticky board here, and you can move this all along. You can move it and prioritize which is in the top. With that will be the next task you will be working on. And this is the how thing which I have explained should be moved in progress and then done. What are the advantages of having the to-do list over Kanban method? This is all you are visualizing how well you are progressing the task. When you see the cards, you will know you are going to focus only on that particular task. You are not going to deviate with anything else. You can continuously prioritize it. That is second advantage. It has the flexibility. You can flexibly move around the task and you can prioritize at any number of times. When you have the written to-do list, so you cannot move that to the other areas. This can be done in a simple way, either using this simple board or using some online tools like Trello is one of the famous example tool. You can use it. It is compatible with all the Windows and all other tools. You can visualize your card and improve your productivity. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
That was excellent information, TM Ramprasad. Liked it very much. Our fifth speaker is TM Surya. Finally, we have broken the IT mold as he is working as a HR professional for a reputed MNC. For Surya, friends are ones who pat his back and appreciates him when he does good things and guides him when things don't go his way. Friends are there for him at all times. I request his evaluator, TM Sudhamurthy, to give the details about his project.
Good afternoon, Toastmaster of the day. Today, Toastmaster Surya is doing his project from Innovative Planning, Level 1, Project 3, Evaluation and Feedback. The purpose of the project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and
Hello.
I believe this time evaluator lost the connection.
Could we go ahead? TM Surya, your project is titled Spot Your Blind Spot. Spot Your Blind Spot, TM Surya.
Let me just share my screen. Please acknowledge once seeing it. Okay, hope it's visible right now. Is it?
It's not full screen.
Yeah, got it. So now I believe it's visible. 3 months back, I joined a new organization. In the month of July, I was asked to appear to the office to complete an exit formality of an employee. I went, completed, and returned back. The next day, I received a call from my boss stating that, Surya, you received a complaint from the person who completed his exit formality, saying that you were so rude to him. I got upset because that was an unfair assumption. Have you ever been blindly judged by people like this? What would you think about it? If you think bad, then here is a heuristic exercise which helps in identifying such blind spots in you. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today I'm going to talk about a technique called which helps in self-development, illustrations, and compatibility between individuals in group. It's an interesting technique called Johari window, which was invented by psychologists Joseph Luft and Harrington Ingham. It is one of the best models which explains the human interaction, and it has a 4-pane window which has 4 quadrants, explains the personality of human being. Here you go. The first quadrant is an open area. It is basically called as an area of free activity. This has the information which a person himself knows and others knows about him. The second quadrant is called the hidden self. This has the information about the person, probably a secret that only that person knows about him and which he is not interested in disclosing it to others. The quadrant 3 is the main place. This has the information which is not known by the individual himself, but that are known to the others. So this is the pain area in which each and every individual has to focus on. Thus, by receiving the feedback, they can improve themselves. And the fourth and final quadrant is an unknown quadrant. This basically has some information that is unknown to either the individuals or the others. So these are some information which could be unearthed during self-discovery. So with this, I did a small research where I shared some 15 adjectives to 6 different respondents, and these 6 different respondents were from our own club. And the results were quite interesting. And these are the 15 adjectives that I shared. The results are here to go. The first quadrant shows the adjectives that were chosen by myself and both by the respondents. And these are basically the information that's known to myself and to the person about me. And these could be my personal traits. The second quadrant shows the adjective that was chosen only by me, but not by any of the respondents. Since this is not too personal to me, I'm just disclosing this adjective because since I'm into this field of HR, I have to be more self-conscious during the work. And since I have shared this to you, I can move this to the first quadrant, quadrant number 1. But as an individual, you would always avoid sharing this information if you feel this is too personal to you. The third quadrant is the most important quadrant. And this was the adjective that was chosen by one of the respondents and not by me. When I asked him about to just find out what is the reason, he gave me a feedback saying that during my term as a vice president education, he felt many a times that I was tensed while running the meeting when my fellow ExCom members were not available. So this is the critical feedback which I need to work on and improve myself. Fourth and final quadrant does not have any adjectives. And we have some remaining adjectives which was either not chosen by me or by any other respondent. Hence, I could assume that these are some qualities I may or may not have, but this could be found by myself or by my respondents whenever they find it in me. On a whole, Johari window is like a psychological X-ray. It's almost like a mirror which shows a person without any frills and as he is. And it is also one of the most effective tools for self-discovery. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Surya. That was an excellent insight for each one of us. Before I move on to the next speaker, I'd just like to make a general announcement. Could I request the timer, Toastmaster Amita, to press the buzzer so that others are able to hear it? Could other Toastmasters and guests as well as the evaluators hear the buzzer and respond, please?
Audible?
Is this okay? You're able to hear? And secondly, I request all the speakers as well as the evaluators to pin Toastmaster Amita to their screens so that we are not running over time. Thank you so much. Our sixth speaker of the day is Toastmaster Shamala. She loves the fine arts, especially dance and theater. Reading books is a passion. She loves networking with people and their stories inspires her. On the theme of the day, she recollects the day she met her best friend. She was in the college cafeteria and to her horror, realized that she had lost her wallet. Her classmate Vaishali helped her out, and at that moment began the lifelong bond. I call upon our evaluator, T.M. Rohit, to read out the salient points of her project. Over to you, Toastmaster Rohit.
Yeah. Thank you, Namodi. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Today, my target speaker, Toastmaster Shamala, is attempting the path strategic relationships, level 1, project 3, research and presenting. The purpose of this project is for the speaker to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. Timer, please note, the timing for the duration of this speech is 5 to 7 minutes. All the very best to Toastmaster Shamala. Over to you, TMOD.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rohit. Toastmaster Shamala's project is titled Action, Cognition, and Emotions. Action, Cognitions, and Emotions, Toastmaster Shamala.
Thank you, TM Modi. Am I audible? A common statement which I hear at least 100 times a day when something goes wrong is, why did she behave like this, yeah? We humans are unpredictable and complicated. Nobody can deny this fact. It just feels like if we have an answer for all this, our life would become much simpler and we would understand people in a better way. I've always wanted to know why people behave the way they do and why we humans and our thinking is complicated. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and honorable guest. So, what exactly is behavior? In scientific research, human behavior is a complex interplay of three components: actions, cognition, and emotions, and everything is connected. Actions, cognitions, and emotions do not run independently of each other. Their proper interaction enables you to perceive the world around you, listen to your inner wishes, and respond appropriately to people in your surroundings. However, it is hard to tell what exactly is the cause and effect. Turning your head, action. Seeing a familiar face might cause a sudden burst of joy, which is an emotion, accompanied by an internal realization, which is cognition. In this case, action equal to emotion plus cognition. For example, hey, there's Peter. In other cases, the sequence of cause and effect might be reversed. Because you're sad, emotion, and ruminating on relationship issues, cognition, you decide to go for a walk to clear your head, which is action. So in this case, emotion plus cognition equal to action. Research on human behavior addresses how and why people behave the way they do. Human behavior is quite complex as it is influenced, modulated, and shaped by multiple factors which are often unrecognized by the individual. So, the first one is the conscious versus unconscious behavior. Consciousness is a state of awareness for internal thoughts and feelings, as well as for proper perception for an uptake of information from your surroundings. A huge amount of our behaviors are guided by the unconscious processes. Just like an iceberg, there's a great amount of hidden information. Only some of it is visible with the naked eye. Second one is the overt versus covert behavior. Overt behavior describes any aspects of behavior that can be observed. For example, body movements or interactions. Also, physiological processes such as blushing, facial expressions, or pupil dilation might be subtle but can still be observed. Covert processes are thoughts, cognition, feelings, emotion, or responses which are not easily seen. Subtle changes in bodily processes, for instance, are hidden to the observer's eye. The third one is the rational versus irrational behavior. Rational behavior might be considered any action, emotion, or cognition which is pertaining to, influenced, or guided by reason. In contrast, irrational behavior describes actions that are not objectively logical. Patients suffering from phobias often report an awareness for their thoughts and fears being irrational. I know that the spider cannot harm me, but they are still scared of it. Albeit, they still cannot resist the urge to behave in a certain way. And I can connect to this because I have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. The fourth one is the voluntary versus involuntary behavior. Voluntary actions are self-determined and driven by your desires and decisions. By contrast, involuntary actions describe any action made without intent or carried out despite an attempt to prevent it. Connection between our behavior and the decisions we take, and hence we must be careful. Human behavior and decision making are heavily affected by emotions, even in subtle ways that we may not always recognize. After making an emotionally fueled decision, we need to continue to use the imperfect reasoning behind it and a mild incidental emotion in decision making. can live longer than the emotional experience itself. Remember that. An example of mood manipulation affecting decision making was completed by researchers who wanted to know how a willingness to help could be affected by positive feelings. So I'm going to present a case study to you guys. To study the question, they placed a quarter, which is 25 cents, clearly visible in a phone booth and waited for passerbys to find the coin. An actor working on behalf of the psychologist stepped in, asking to take an urgent phone call. Study participants who actually found the coin were significantly happier, allowing the confederate to take the call, while those who didn't find the coin were unaffected and more likely to say no. I hope I was able to give a brief picture behind human behavior and hope the next time you ask yourself, why did she behave like this, yeah? My image and words pop before you. So this was a small attempt from my side to make you understand about human behavior, because human behavior is a very important topic to understand about. So thank you, and over to you, TMO.
Thank you. That was a dramatic speech, Toastmaster Shamla. Our final speaker, Shankar Govindraj, works for one of the largest banks as a finance manager. On the theme of the day, he feels that between friends, there shouldn't be any expectation. I call upon his evaluator, DTM Thomas T. Braham, to give details about the speech.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Shamla. Shortly, Toastmaster Shankar is going to present his next project from Dynamic Leadership. This is Level 3, Project 1, called Deliver Special Speeches, first of the two speeches. The title of the speech today is Best Moment. The time is 3 to 4 minutes. Over to you, TMO.
Thank you, DTM Thomas. Now, for a moment, close your eyes. All of you close your eyes and imagine all of us are seated in a function to felicitate Shankar. As MC, on behalf of Annalag Cricket Club, I heartily welcome all of you. It is a matter of great pride to appreciate and reward the performance of the player of the tournament, who has made us all proud by his sterling display with both bat and ball. I call upon Amita to come to the stage and give away the Best Player Award. And now, Shankar will present his acceptance speech. Over to Shankar after me.
So finally, the moment awaits. And now we're going to know who the best player is. Can we count down from 3, 2, and 1? The Best Player Award goes to Mr. Shankar. Mr. Shankar, would you like to say a few words on how you're feeling? Shankar, Mr. Shankar?
Shankar? Actually, I don't see him.
He's not in the chat window.
Yeah, he's not in the chat window. Did he receive the award backstage, Amita?
No idea. It was not a bad outcome also. What is
let me just try it now.
I'll try reaching him.
Okay.
I called Shankar. Current wind outage is in his home. He'll join in 2 minutes.
Okay. So in the meanwhile, let me just talk about my friend. for many years now, for well over 35 years, we have known each other, and we have had a fabulous time. We have gone for trips together, and we have done some fantastic things, and we find great solace in being in each other's company. It is very rare. The last time I met him was about 4 years ago, and we met at a common place in Coimbatore. So, but now what actually happens is our lives are enriched because of the people who come into it. Anand retired from the bank a few weeks ago, and we are looking forward to traveling together as we progress in life. This is it about friendship from my side. Let's see what Shankar has to say, or whether he joins in now.
Shankar has joined Ranga, so I think.
Very good. Yeah. I'm glad we didn't waste too much of time.
Shankar, the floor is yours. Or should we?
Shankar,
I think it's better to start again. Amita, maybe you can start, and then we can get the Shankar to start, and the timer can start from that.
Last minute, yeah, sure.
No problem. Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
So finally, the moment has come for all of us to know who the best player was. In 3, 2, and 1, the best player goes to Mr. Shankar. Mr. Shankar, the stage is all yours, and you have everything you want to say.
Thank you, Amita. It is an honor to receive this prestigious award. And I'm in cloud 9, as I waited for 3 years, and I'm so excited to lift it today. Nevertheless, there are many people behind the scene who helped me to achieve this feat, especially my team, who is resilient, highly spirited, played a brilliant performance and amazing teamwork throughout the series. Kudos to my team. The other important person I would like to thank is our coach, Mr. Murali. Like Mahabharata, how Krishna advised Arjuna to defeat Kauravas, even though Pandava didn't have a stronger army. Similarly, our coach made a brilliant plan and identified each player's strength, which helped us to grab it today. Our coach was consistently telling us that sport is like a life. Like life, sport always have ups and downs. When you are losing the game, it will make you more stronger and more resilient. Even now, I still remember our coach exact words before we play finals. I would like to share with you here his exact words. Great moments are from great opportunity, and that's what you are earned here today. One game, if we play 10 times with them, they might have won 9, but not this game. Tonight, we fight with them, we shut them down because we can. You are born to be a cricket player, and you are meant to be here tonight. This is your time. That time it's gone, it's over. Now, go out there and take up the cup. Today, I am witnessing whatever you say, it comes into reality. Thanks to our team coach. Finally, I would like to share few words about my first love, cricket. Cricket may often be considered as a nothing, silly, or most childish game, but it has played a major role in our society, especially country like India. It united the people. It always excited not only the player, but all of us. It turned immature boys and girls into exceptional men or women into the society. Last but not least, I would like to thank my parents who identified my strength and engaged and encouraged me, motivated me, and pursued me to play the game from my childhood. Thanks again for the award. Over to T.M. Modi.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shankar. That was an excellent speech. Now, we had a broad spectrum of speeches from Hogwarts to interviews, to sports, and everything else in between. I turn it over to the general evaluator to conduct the evaluation session now. Over to Toastmaster Raghuram.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ranga. So now we have an interesting session of evaluation on how each project speakers has done for their each project, whether they have met the objectives, what are the improvement points, and we as an evaluator usually do a sandwich approach, like which I can explain to you in the time to come. And to evaluate Chokalingkam's speech, we have our Toastmaster Dinesh. Toastmaster Dinesh, can I invite you to evaluate Chokalingkam's speech of Find Your House? Over to you, Dinesh.
Thank you, G. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. Today, Toastmaster Chokalingkam made a brilliant speech on how we have to select our own house and how we have to select our own organization and people who believe. There are three things basically I liked in his speech very much. The first is the opening. He had a powerful opening. During this time when MS Dhoni just has retired and the guy who played MS Dhoni committed suicide, it was refreshing to talk about kids. We love to hear so much from them. He opened it with a question about how many of us think, why do we think we love kids so much? It was refreshing. And similarly, he had appropriate pauses everywhere. It is very difficult, but since Toastmaster Chokalingkam is already an accomplished speaker, he had pauses exactly. Like, for example, when he mentioned, I dated in the year 2015, and then he paused. He said, I with my laptop. And so kudos to Toastmaster Chokalingkam for using the pause effectively. And also the structure of the speech was very brilliant. For example, in the opening, he mentioned about his childhood age, up till when we were all very innocent and we didn't know where we are and we were carefree. And from the college life, we have our own set of people, and and people don't like people very much like open-minded. So he had that as a body, and he concluded by saying that we have to select people and group we ourselves associated. For example, he gave a very good example of Gryffindor in Hogwarts, where everyone could associate with it. So he had a clear opening, a clear body, and clear conclusion, a proper structure to a speech. But there are a few recommendations which I like to give to Toastmaster Chokalingkam. I believe that he used his hand gesture too much here and there. Throughout his 5 to 6 minute speech, you could always see his hand over here and there. Perhaps in his stage speeches, he used to go in the stage from one end to the other, and so he could not keep his hand in one position. I would recommend Toastmaster Chokalingkam to use hand gestures whenever it is appropriate. For example, in the opening, when he was mentioning about the kids, and in the conclusion, when he has to say a point, using hand gestures unnecessarily, perhaps it blocks the speech and it's not with the overall flow of the speech. And also, this previous recommendation in the speech, it was mentioned that he drastically came to the conclusion and there was not a proper structure to the speech. But in this speech, Toastmaster Chokalingkam had a beautiful structure. His body was well placed and in line with the tune. It was like an effervescent ocean. It was very smooth in nature. And kudos to Toastmaster Chokalingkam to taking on the recommendations in a good manner. We all know Toastmaster, I will summarize by saying that it was a brilliant speech by Toastmaster Chokalingkam. It is not very common that we see that an accomplished speaker who comes to speak only once a year in Toastmasters, but is a prolific speaker like Toastmaster Chokalingkam is, as an outstanding comedian. It was a brilliant speech, Gyan from Chokalingkam, which included a lot of humor. And I'm looking forward to Toastmaster Chokalingkam's next speech. Over to you, G.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Dinesh. That's a wonderful evaluation and a best example of that sandwich approach of evaluation. Now, we have Toastmaster Priya, who I always find a very friendly person, and I could relate to her as the two words that I could relate to was the peacock dance. And to evaluate Sharavanan's speech, let's invite Toastmaster Priya. Toastmaster Priya, over to you.
Thank you so much. Now, during this pandemic, when I see any person who comes out, who lends his hand to do something for the society, then I call him as a leader. But today our Toastmaster Sarvanan had a big job because his project was completely based on effective project management. So who is a good manager according to us? One who is very good in communication, who inspires a shared vision, and also who is empathetic. Now let me say what are the good things I liked in this speech. As I talked about a good manager, even Toastmaster Sarvanan had all these good qualities in this speech of his. Yeah, as a good communicator, I'll say he's a good communicator because again, you see the structure, it was so well structured. It talked about the SOPs, the team management, and also about the adaptation process. Then what was his vision? It was very clear as to why and how they are going to come out with this project. If you saw, there was a very big picture put before us and how smartly he utilized the people. Yes, he put right people at the right job. He brought in doctor and chemist to take care of the bleach department, a homemaker for the waste management. Then also on the adaptation, I thought it was only we Medlians who got ourselves adapted to this Zoom meeting. These people residing in Mahalakshmi layout on Adyar, there are 24 members, and look at the plan they have. They try to convince their plan through Zoom meeting. I'll say definitely a very neatly planned and very well executed looking at this report. Now coming under the recommendations, the project clearly says you share the experience as a project manager. That's where is my recommendation now. Now, what was the outcome of this plan, preparation, and persuasion? Was there any contingency plan you had? Because this is a pandemic time and we know if something went wrong, if there is no plan B and if a plan A fails, what is that you all did or you all came up with? My question is, what was the tangible solution you all got? If you could have given a result at the end, this is the end result we got after bringing out this plan, then I will say definitely this report of yours was a complete one. Again, overall, as usual, Toastmasters Sarvanan, your speech is very well structured, and I also like the adaptation here. One thing is, if you could have given the result, the effect of this plan, then it would be really good. As your title rightly says, we live once, but if we do it right, then living once is also much good. Thank you so much. Over to you, TMOD. Generally valid, sorry.
Thank you so much, Priya, for that wonderful evaluation of Sharanan's speech, Toastmaster Sharanan's speech. Now, to evaluate the interview of how well Mohan Sundaram has done his interview, let me welcome Toastmaster Ramesh Murugan to evaluate the project speech of Toastmaster Mohan Sundaram. Over to you, Toastmaster Ramesh.
Thank you, G. Am I audible and are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. This is my evaluation for Mohan Sundaram speech title, Prepare for an Interview. There is a proverb, success succeeds failure. This is perfectly applicable to Mohan Sundaram. I really appreciate Mohan Sundaram, and he has taken the feedback of the previous project or previous speech, and he has taken it very constructively and repeated this project today. We all have observed a wonderful interview scenario, a well-compatible session between the interviewer and the candidate. I hope it meets the complete purpose of this project. And also, Mohan Sundaram may accept the offer letter from Anubhavam company and share his Anubhavam, that is experience, in his next speech. Coming to the speech evaluation, I would like to give a couple of points what was really great and I liked it most, and what could have been done better, couple of points. So the number one point here on the what was great is, throughout the interview, I see a very confident speech. For every response, he was very honest. The response was very honest, especially the last, when what made you happy? You just honestly tell that I'm a foodie. So the response to all the questions, very confident, and he has scored very well in that. And on the what could be done better, when he explained about the strength and the weakness, I see he could have narrated the passion for, he was good at problem solving, and that particular problem, a typical scenario, how that translated into a dollar benefits for a company. If that he could narrate it in a kind of converting that into a dollar, that makes a real selling point for any company. And weakness, not just mentioning about the weakness and stay there. Yes, you acknowledge the weakness, that itself 50% of the job you are done, and what you are taking actions to mitigate that or improve or coming out of the weakness. So that additional narration, if he adds in the content, it would be a wow. Again, what was very good, actually, the passion for winning. All the responses I see, the interviewer would be easily looking at. A passion for winning, what you wanted to be in the next 5 years. He cracked that answer with, yes, already I am there in your Anubhavam company. That's how he confidently portrayed. And he's telling, I will be the digital, senior digital marketing manager. So that shows the passion for winning, allowing no gray area, for the interviewer. That really well. And another point for what could have been done better is, he could have used the hand gestures, because now we are doing online meeting. Even for an online interview, when we wanted to face these kind of actual scenarios, it could be better to use the hand gestures and show your movements to really communicate that yes, you are there for the company interviewer. So these are the 4 points which I would like to share. All the best, Mohanasundram. Over to General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ramesh. That was really a wonderful and crisp evaluation of Mohan Sundaram's interview. And now, to evaluate Ram Prasad's, Toastmaster Ram Prasad's speech on Visualize Your Cards, we have Toastmaster Sundareshan evaluating his speech. Can I invite Toastmaster Sundareshan on stage?
Thank you, General Evaluator. Toastmaster Ram Prasad's speech title, Visualize Your Cards. At the moment I saw this one, I thought he is going to teach us some 3 cards or rummy game. Thank God he covered an excellent topic, which is the need of our day planning. And I am the right person to do this evaluation also, because before I was not a good planner, but once I became a planner, it really helped in my case. Your speech content was good. Later I'll move to speech delivery and the areas of improvement also. And every chain of work, certainly it contains a lot of tasks. You analyze that particular task in the micro level and the macro level, and you suggested which one will work nicely if we follow the planning step. And you narrated nicely the shopping incident which you made it. Then it added value to your point, and you suggested the best way which we follow in our working environment is one tool called Kanban tool with 3 columns: to do, in progress, and done, all these things. It's a proven tool. So it was easy for you to really convey it in a nice way. Coming to your speech delivery, your voice was good, clarity and pronunciation was good. Only some friendly suggestions from me, which will add value and your speech can be taken to the next level, is giving pause at the right place will add value to your speech. It will really give importance. And try to avoid little bit your monotonous voice, so that, especially in that place, when you narrated fully the importance of planning, when you say planning is everything, you said so casually, planning is everything, like other sentence. But the whole theme of your speech was, the crux was, planning is everything. That matters a lot, and it will become a winning speech one day. And your speech your objective was aligned with the topic which you have taken, and you justified also, because people take the topic. But when you give a solution, it adds value, like you gave an important tool for everyone to follow also. And you made this topic, especially about this planning tool, much familiar to the audience. because the objective says you have to take a topic and give it in a nice way so that it becomes to the audience. You have justified it, you have done good homework, you have analyzed it and conveyed it in a nice way. So if you work as a friendly suggestion from me as an evaluator, if you work out in the past and a little bit, you can avoid the monotonous and humor. You're a humorous person, but with a bright smile, your speech can be taken to the next level, and like to hear more speeches in future from you. Good luck to Toastmaster Ram Prasad. Over to General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sundareshan. That was really a wonderful evaluation and so much of improvement points. Now, we had a small technical glitch by Toastmaster Sudha. She wasn't able to listen to the speech of Toastmaster Surya. So let me do that honor on behalf of Toastmaster Sudha to evaluate the speech of Surya's blind spot. Your spot the blind spot. Yeah. So Toastmaster Surya, let me congratulate you for having that that enthusiasm when you did the speech yesterday. I'm not sure how many of you have seen him lost his connection yesterday, and that he was able to get the speech today. That enthusiasm and the preparedness was shown on your the way it is being done. Especially, let me tell you the couple of good points that you had in the speech. The way that you have mastered the online speech or the use of laptops and things like that, where you were connected, well versed, and you had an instrument where you were able to change the slide automatically. So that was something which was really good, like the way you prepared and you were able to convey the Johari Windows thing with your own example. It was really something which we could relate to each of every 4 quadrants, and how the adjectives of each of these quadrants was reflected to that particular thing. The couple of points, like for any delivery of the speech, couple of improvement points that I would like to suggest is your body was really a bit fixed. One of your hands was like the body movement was something which you need to really work upon and see how it need to be improved, because it could, it shows it should show or convey the message through the body language. The other thing is the voice variety that could bring in for it. And another important point is how well you utilize that whole time that you have got in conveying a message. The time which you have utilized is almost like 5 minutes, 20 seconds, and you still had that 1 minute, over 1 minute to convey some other important messages that we could take away as a project speaker. But overall, a wonderful speech, very well done, very well delivered with an opening body and a conclusion. That's something which I really liked it. Over to the G for me. Now let me invite Toastmaster Rohit to evaluate the project speaker Shamla, the topic being action, cognitions, and emotions. Over to you, Toastmaster Rohit.
Hello, G. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Today, my target speaker, Toastmaster Shamla, did a fantastic work around the human behavior, with the title, speech title being action, cognition, and emotions. First, let me tell you that Toastmaster Shamla did a fantastic job in putting across the message given the time limit that is 5 to 7 minutes. human behavior is not an easy subject at all. It is a very complex topic, and to put at least little bit whatever that is possible in a nutshell, in a capsule, in about 5 to 7 minutes, she did a fantastic job, no doubt about it. And everything beyond that, like there was research on human behavior that was excellent, and which comprised of the various conscious and non-conscious human behaviors, rational and irrational actions influencing human behaviors, and also the emotions that influence the decision making among the human beings, which and how to control them as well. All these are very educative to the audience, and this we, even though like we would have heard it before, and this is not an easy topic to research and convey to the audience at all. That too within a span of 5 to 7 minutes, because considering the fact that the area of this subject is so huge and so vast, so it had to be everything had to be comprised in about 5 to 7 minutes. So considering all these facts, it was a fantastic job done by Shamala. And beyond that, and to support all her all the causes, or all the various causes, and the on the various research topics that she's done. She also quoted a very good example about the phone booth, how people who picked up the quarter from the phone booth will make a call are so happy. So I think this is a very interesting example she had to share. And then she had a very good opening, and she recapped it with a very good closing. And that way, it was not like over the top, it was just ideal, it was just apt for the topic, considering the fact that how complicated this topic is. Apart from that, she had everything going well for her, considering that she is a very seasoned speaker and Toastmaster. So one suggestion I could give that is, I think you could have added 1 or 2 slides. I don't know if that was there in your speech, but I think you could have added 1 or 2 slides to make it, to bring in that more clarity to the audience. Otherwise, everything was picture perfect. All the best, Toastmaster Shamala. Over to you, G.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rohit. And now, to evaluate our last project speaker, Toastmaster Shankar Govindraj, we have our President, Toastmaster Thomas, to evaluate his speech. Can I invite Toastmaster Thomas to the stage?
Thank you very much, GE. Yes, 3, 2, 1, your name is called. And what do you feel? Naturally, you are all over the place. And you forget your words, you say it's an honor, and then you say you're on cloud 9. True admission. This is exactly what happens in the stadium. And stadium speeches are not like what you do in Toastmasters. So I must compliment you for bringing that spirit. There was a lot of physicality in his speech, which is not describable. That's deserved in a sports kind of an arena. Kapil Dev, remember Kapil Dev at Lords. Structure was perfect, I would tell you. Acceleration of winning, the credit to the team, credit to the coach, eulogizing cricket, and a word of thanks to the parents. Very well done. Even beauty queens can't do it better. A major victory today for you, I must tell you, Toastmaster Shankar, is the way you conquered your voice. You planned it, you did a fantastic attempt to do it. The high point for me was the way the coach, you couldn't have lost it the way the coach advised you to go, win it. And the logic of it, 9 out of 10 you lose, but today is not that. Today is the 10. 10 means you are 10 out of 10, you're winning. I thought that was fantastic. That's exactly what happens in the hangout. You took me back to many, many years. Then that's the power of words that changes history. I thought you demonstrated that very well. Use of Arjuna. Arjuna is a zip file. It's the heaviest that you can think of for a coach and a guide and a mentor. With that, you wove such a lot of imageries for us. You couldn't have aced it. Well done there. You did a lot of preparation. You got Amita to do that. You know, you whipped up the passions. You got the start yourself. You got us started. Very well planned. Only a couple of thoughts. Should the coach tell about life and winning? At that time, you got to go and win that, grab the trophy. Is that the time to philosophize? I was not very sure. That part alone, I was not sure. Secondly, a little more preparation. You know that the way you started gently about your parents, very slow, very low. Then you built up into a momentum, etc. That would have been perfect, a little more preparation. But I'm very much impressed by the way you planned it. You thought it through, very well structured. And I think you have conquered your voice. So today, kudos to you for conquering your voice, planning things out. Very well done, Shankar. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Thomas, for that wonderful evaluation of Shankar's speech. Now, moving to the results from the reports from the tag player. Can I ask Toastmaster Amita to share your report on as a timer?
Thank you, G. So, coming to the prepared speech session, out of 7, 5 speakers are qualified. Toastmaster Chokkalingam spoke for 5 minutes. Toastmaster Saravanan spoke for 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Toastmaster Mohanasundaram spoke for 7 minutes and 20 seconds. Toastmaster Ramprasad spoke for 7 minutes and 25 seconds. Toastmaster Surya spoke for 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Toastmaster Shamala spoke for 6 minutes and 45 seconds. And Toastmaster Shankar spoke for 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Coming to the evaluators, out of 7, 6 evaluators are qualified. Toastmaster Dinesh spoke for 3 minutes and 17 seconds. Toastmaster Priyadarshini spoke for 2 minutes and 53 seconds. Toastmaster Ramesh Murugan spoke for 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Toastmaster Sundareshan spoke for 3 minutes. Toastmaster Raghunath spoke for 3 minutes and 16 seconds. Toastmaster Rohit spoke for 3 minutes and 17 seconds. And Toastmaster Shankar spoke for 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So that's my report for today. I can read out the qualified names again. Coming to the prepared speech session, Toastmaster Chokkalingam, Toastmaster Mohanasundaram, Toastmaster Ramprasad, Toastmaster Surya, Toastmaster Shamala are qualified. And coming to the evaluators, Toastmaster Dinesh, Toastmaster Priyadarshini, Toastmaster Sundaresan, Toastmaster Raghunath, Toastmaster Rohit, and Toastmaster Shankar are qualified. So I hand over the stage to G again.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Amita, for that report on the timer and very well monitoring the timing. Now, to have the R counters report, let me invite Toastmaster Sampath.
Yes,
Toastmaster
hi,
Sampath.
Hi, sir. Yeah, can I share my screen?
Sure, please.
Thank you. Can you able to see my screen?
It's just yes. Now we are able to see.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, G. Thank you, everyone. It was a fantastic session to me. Let me move on to these results. Toastmaster Abhimanyu, it was a clean speech. DTM Thomas sir, he has used 2 O's. Then 2 repeat words, 2 and couple. TM Modi Rangarajan, 1 O, 1 1 repeat word is acceptance. And GE Raghunath sir, total 9. Or and who is 8 and repeat word is only 1. Speakers, prepared speakers, speaker 1 TM Chokkalingam, total 2 numbers, 1, then 1 pause, the long pause. Then speaker 2 Saravanan P, Toastmaster Saravanan P, total 6, 3 or and 2 repeat and 1 so. The repeat words 3 and because. Speaker 3 Mohanasundaram, total 19, 7 O's and 3 and 1 well and 5 passes and 3 repeat words. Repeat words are passionate, educations, and D. Speaker 4, Ram Prasad, total 3, 1 R and 1 pause, 1 repeat. Repeat word is production. Speaker 5, Surya, total 3, 1 so, 2 pauses, long pauses. Speaker 6, Shaimala, clean speech. Speaker 7, Shankar Govindraj, clean speech. And moving on to evaluators. Evaluator 1, Dinesh TM, Dinesh CJ, total 5, 3 Os and 1 1 repeat word, refreshing. Evaluator 2, Priyadarshini, clean speech. Evaluator 3, TM Ramesh Murugan, total 3, all 3s are R. Evaluator 4, Sundaraisen, TM Sundaraisen, total 2, 2 Rs. Evaluator 5, TM Sudhamurthy was not able to evaluate the speech due to these technical issues. Mr. Raghunath did the evaluations. Yes, it includes already in earlier. Evaluator 6, Rohit M, total 6 Rs and 1 and 1 pause. Evaluator 7, DDM Thomas Abraham, clean speech. Tag role players, timer Amita, clean speech. Grammarian, clean speech. Accounter, which is me. I got at least I used a couple of 3 and more, maybe. I'm not sure about it. Okay, thank you so much. Today I did, I'm sorry, I took another 1 minute. Today I did a debut role tag player. Maybe if I made any mistake, please let me know, please accept and give me, it'll be helpful for me to implement in upcoming sessions. Thank you so much. Over to you, G.
Toastmaster Sampath, thank you so much for that wonderful counter report. It's really, it shows the way that it is being prepared, and that is why you're able to make that Excel and get the details in, and then it could be shared. It's wonderful evaluation from a very novice Toastmaster of an counter. Now we have another novice Toastmaster who will be doing the role of grammarian. Let me invite Toastmaster Lavanya.
Thank you, G. I have a technical issue. My Excel is not responding. Nevertheless, I'm able to see from speaker 5, 6, and 7 and the areas of improvement. That is what I could actually see in my Excel now. I'm afraid if I were to close this, I may not be able to recover this file that soon. So with whatever I have captured, I just want to go ahead. I will try to recover the file and then share it with you later. So with speaker 5, Toastmaster Surya, he used words like personal traits. It's like a distinguishing quality or character. He used this word extrovert and outgoing, social, confident person is a meaning. He also uses word ingenious, which means clever, original. Then moving on to speaker 6, which is Toastmaster Shamla. She used words like unpredictable, cognition, modulated, rational, compulsive behavior, which means as performing an action just persistently and repeatedly doing it. And speaker 7, Toastmaster Shankar, he uses word kudos, which is praise or honor. Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly. Persuaded is, he uses word persuaded is like, to induce something to someone to something. And he also uses idiom, which is cloud 9, which means a person is feeling very happy or satisfied. And most of the speakers use the word for the day. Certain areas of improvement, this is purely from my perspective, where we could, instead of using tons of information, we could have used ample of information. Pain area, it could be pain points. Instead of housewife, it could be a homemaker. And somewhere we said it's like informations, where it is only information. So these are the areas which could be improved. Apologies for the issue that I have with my laptop. I will just save, I'll try to recover the file and share it with you. Thank you so much. Over to Dee.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lavanya, for that wonderful evaluation. A great effort in having that grammarian's report. Very, very detailed, and we will wait for your further detailed report over email or in the WhatsApp. Now, as a general evaluator, one of the key purposes is to look into and listen or monitor the whole session of today. I was really happy and thrilled, and I was able to listen to that 7 wonderful project speeches that we had today. An amazing experience of prepared speeches. Let me start from the beginning. Like as usual, we kept our timing at 2:55 as the Toastmaster of the day. The Toastmaster was able to really play very well, in the sense like when we had some issues on technical, he was able to move between, and then the presence of mind is something which you learn in the Toastmasters meeting, and especially when you're doing the Toastmaster of the day, and that's been effectively done by Toastmaster Ranga. One of the good points that we need to emulate. And now for the tag report, though the counter and the grammarian were novice in, can I say, like less experienced Toastmaster, they did a wonderful job, as the timer did, whatever role she has taken, she's done well, Amita. And the evaluators did a wonderful job. Like the innovative thing which I really liked was of Toastmaster Ramesh's way of explaining it over a PowerPoint, which was very clear, especially from when you're doing an online meeting, and that was really a good, innovative one. Toastmasters Priya's understanding and doing that sandwich approach. One quick suggestion to all the project speakers which I have is that you're given a timing of 5 to 7 minutes for a project speech, and if that timing is meant, it is meant for you to control. And people who have just touched 5 minutes or 5 minutes 20 seconds, or like overshoot by 1.5 minutes, I feel it is bit lack of preparation, and that need to be really looked into when we do a project speech, because that it gives you an essence of how do you control your message effectively. And that's something which need to be really looked into, because preparing a speech takes a lot of time, and to have it disqualified just because of few seconds is something that as a project speaker we need to improve. And like if it is 5 minutes, you've got a lot of 2 minutes to do it, and if you overshoot by 1.5 minutes, we felt like even if you have done a good speech, we lost you from the. Other than that, I didn't find any big improvement points. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Ranka.
Thank you very much, PM Raghu. It was a fabulous session. The speakers, the general evaluator, and the tag team, they've done a fabulous job, and actually made my job that much easier. Now, I just request you to take a couple of minutes to cast your votes for the best role players and the best speakers and the best evaluators. And I'll turn it over to our president, DTM Thomas T. Graham.
Thank you very much, Ranga. I can't agree with you more. This meeting had energy. This meeting had quality. Do I vote? Okay, I will let go that. Okay, no, I will let go my voting. It's okay. So this meeting had quality. Now I understand why people make a song and dance about. Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yeah, there was an interruption. I now understand why people make a song and dance about Saptaswaras, the octave, the 7 colors, the Vibgyor. There's a certain completeness about it. I think today's 7 speeches gave me that sense of completeness. And all in a matter of 2 hours. I'm so happy we are still within time. So a great kudos to all of you. The speakers, the evaluators, the role players, all of you deserve. Bottom of my heart, I'm saying, I normally don't see such perfection as I saw today. Despite the sad irony, technology letting us down. But despite that, we got the better out of that. I think that's proved once again. And I just want to add my word of congratulations to 2 new players who played like veterans, the grammarian, Lavanya, and our counter Sampath. And as for Sudha, who would have done her debut today, Sudha, come back strong. We will be there to cheer you. Yeah, so that to me was the total show. Quickly, I would like to have a word from Aishwarya. Guest Aishwarya, are you there? Hello? Guest Aishwarya?
I don't think so.
All right. How about guest Julie? Julie, beg your pardon. Guest Julie? Guest Gopinath?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Gopinath, please announce yourself and tell us how did you find the last 2 hours?
Yeah, today it was very grateful session, and the experienced speaker gave the experienced speech and the valuable information which will help in our life. And yeah, I could see there are beginners also who provided a speech, and the experienced person also who provided a speech. I could find the difference where I can learn something out of here, and I can improve my communication over here. So it will be definitely going to be helpful. Yeah.
Good.
Thanks.
What do you do, Mr. Gopinath?
I work with one of the MNC IT company. So I have nearly 7 years of experience.
Okay.
I thought of improving my communication skill, where it will help me to achieve in my in the next level of my career.
Sure. Keep visiting, keep watching, keep enjoying. Most welcome. Most welcome. How about Lakshmi Ramesh? Is she with us still?
Yeah. Hi,
Yes,
Thomas, sir.
how are you?
Yeah.
Very fine, very fine. Good to hear your voice. You don't want to be visible.
Thank you.
You don't want to make yourself visible.
No, not like that. One sec. Huh?
Okay, no problem. No problem. No. Don't speak. Come on, we know you. Come on.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for allowing me on this. Actually, it is very nice. Actually, the speakathon is the continuous 7-member speech. It is very good to listen. Actually, I enjoyed a lot. I have learned a lot. In fact, actually, the speech everyone is given us new words and the new techniques they have been taught to us. It is very really good to hear and learn. So actually, I'm eagerly waiting. Actually, I'm going to renew my membership shortly. Thank you so much, sir.
No, we're so happy to hear your voice. We will wait to see your face. We appreciate. Thank you for keep coming. Okay, we are Saturday. We are there. No change in timings. Please keep coming.
Yes.
Now, do we have any other guest I've missed out? I'm sorry then. We are still on top of time. That's why I'm saying this to you. Anyone would like to give you his or her opinion? Any guest? Faisal, yes, how are you? It's a very dramatic visual you are creating. Faisal, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing well, sir. In fact, I did not want to make myself visible, but I wanted to speak. That's why I simply opened the start video and then showed my hand.
Please have your wish.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. In fact, I joined only in the evaluation session. I enjoyed all the evaluators' speeches, Priyadarshini, Ramesh, Rohit, Dinesh, and you. All of you did a wonderful job. And it's really great joining with Medley once again. Thank you.
Sure. Good to hear your voice because we have spent a lot of good time together. Welcome anytime, any Saturday afternoon. This is the place to be.
Thank you, sir.
Great. So I think we had a wonderful meeting, I must say, and I think it's only correct that we are still within time. Hello. Yeah, we're still within time. And are you ready to receive the results? I don't have Amita's dramatics to tell you all 3, 2, 1, but in the plain speak, I'm going to announce the results. The best speaker is Shamala. The best tag player is Lavanya. Newcomer, maiden century. The best role player is Raghunath Nair. And the best evaluator, Thomas Abraham. So with this imaginary sound of this imaginary gavel, I declare this meeting closed and invite all of you to the largest room in Chennai, Medley's chat room.